Did you know that for Atlantis, The Lost Empire, Jim Varney, who voiced Cookie, died just before finishing the film? His line at the end
I ain't so good at speechifying, but I want you to have this.
was not spoken by Varney. Steve Barr did the voice for that scene. So Atlantis, The Lost Empire, in my opinion, is a very underappreciated Disney movie. It unfortunately was a box office bomb. Over the years, I mean, it's really gained a lot of just notoriety of just how well crafted it really is. The beautiful animation. It's one of the last of its kind of 2D animation. But this story really is cool. It really is a special, unique, underrated gem in my opinion. Honestly, if Disney's gonna make a live action adaptation of anything, it should be Atlantis. Also, Treasure Planet is another one that a lot of people want to see, including me. But I would love to see a live action Atlantis movie, and we still might get it. But I guess we'll have to see what the future holds with that. I have three things I liked about this movie, and my last thing is definitely my favorite. So the first thing I liked about this movie was the story and the animation. The story, I think, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it borrows from a few familiar stories that we've heard, mythology and historical tales. I just like the atmosphere it creates, the adventure. First of all, it takes place in 1914, so we get a period piece, and we just get to get immersed into a kid who is really trying to make his grandfather proud. He's kind of the crazy nut guy that everybody knows about, and but when you look at Milo, you're like, this kid, he loves what he does, he's passionate about what he does, and he's very strong in his beliefs. This whole movie, you're just cheering for Milo that he reaches his goal, he reaches his destination, and he's finally able to stand tall, stand proud. And then also the animation, like I said, 2D animation. This was one of the last movies, if not the last movie, to utilize 2D animation. I'm telling you, 2D animation is something special. It's just, there's something clean about it. There's something, it's kind of hard to put my finger on the word I'm looking for, but it's just so uniquely, beautifully done that I just have to give hats off to the animators for this, because it definitely stood the test of time. It's definitely still praised for its animation today, even though we've gotten all sorts of animation. Honestly, I think 2D animation was always the best kind to have. Second thing I liked about this movie is the characters and the villain. Characters, the characters in this movie really make the story and the adventure really worthwhile. I mean, we have all sorts of characters, and I gotta say my two favorite characters are always like Packard is number one, and then Vinny is number two. Packard, I mean, we all know she's chain-smoking old lady. She doesn't give a crap. Like, she's fearless. She has that reputation, you know. Like, I'm sure every one of us can name someone who's very similar to Packard and her attitude, how she views life, how she's this very carefree, rebellious spirit, no matter how old she gets, and she's a force to be reckoned with. Like, let me tell you, Packard is an amazing old lady. And then Vinny has so many underrated moments. I mean, if you really pay attention to what he says and how he acts, like, you realize, like, who is this guy? Like, there's more to Vinny than meets the eye. We don't get a whole lot of backstory in any of these guys. You know, they're kind of just thrown into the movie. You know, we get a little bit, we get their motivations, but we get, like, zero backstory on these guys. I mean, I wish we would have had some. It would have made their characters even better. And then the villain, Rourke, it took me a long time to realize this, but he reminds me a lot of Colonel Courage from Avatar. It seems like Avatar and this movie share a lot of similarities, but he also looks a lot like Courage. He's basically the cartoon version of him. I mean, he's this strong, jacked, muscular man. He's got the gray hair. He's got the white lines on his side, just like Courage. I mean, he's military man. He's going after this indigenous tribe, trying to steal this powerful crystal that sustains their world. I think he's a good villain, solid villain. I wouldn't say he's complex or anything. There's no complex reasoning to what he does. He's just a greedy, money-grubbing guy who wants power and status. That's pretty much it. So there's nothing special about his villain. It's just, he reminded me a lot of Courage. And then lastly, my favorite scene, the very end where Kida saves the city. She's pretty much all-powerful. She's got the crystals, and we get to see just this jaw-dropping display of power as this lava is just crashing towards the city, and these statues come up and they just create a dome, a shield, And that's where the animation, I think the reason why I like it the most is the animation is just incredible. It's so beautiful, just like the contrasting. The cosmic powers versus natural lava, and just, Kita going crazy, man. A lot of people love Kita. If there's a live action version, I would love to see if they cast as Kita. I think she's got to be cast right. But Kita's always been that underrated princess, if you will, that a lot of people still enjoy watching her for obvious reasons, but also like her and Milo. Really great connection, like really great relationship there. Very special. It's a relationship that's not talked about a whole lot. So if you haven't seen Atlantis, The Lost Empire in a while, check it out. It's on Disney Plus right now. So for Atlantis, The Lost Empire, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 Mudflaps. Remember, leave me a thumbs up and drop in the comments below. Who would you want to see cast as Milo and Kita in a live action adaptation of this movie? See you soon.